Hi everyone, thank you for listening to the LIDOM Report. I'm Arving Gonzalez, and in this episode number 13, we're gonna talk about what happened in LIDOM the last week. Let's make a recap and let's get into it. It was not that busy week in LIDOM because of 21 possible games, 8 were rained out, was like raining a lot, like not only in one province or region, it was basically in the whole country. And yeah, a lot of postponements, and that made things like, let's say, not that traditional. But yeah, they still managed to have at least one game each day, and at least keep that kept the interest in the league. And the standing now have Licey still leading with 8 wins and 3 losses. In second place, Águilas with 8-4, only half a game behind Licey. On third place, Gigantes with 8-5, and one game behind the first place. And the fourth place are Estrellas with 6 wins and 7 losses, 3 games out of the first place. In fifth place are the Escogido with 4-8, and in the last place, Toros with 3 wins and 10 losses. They have lost 5 games in a row, and what happened is basically the same as it's been happening since the beginning of the season with Toros, like really awful offensive, and their starting pitcher has been like awful, and that was something kind of unexpected because of the big names that were announced before the beginning of the season. I'm talking about Julio Teheran, Mike Fiers, uh, also Carlos Contreras, Raúl Valdez, and Luis Medina. And yeah, it's been pretty disappointing for them. And also in the offensive side, having a lot of players that are like used to playing early down, like Allen Hanson, Christian Adames, and some foreign players like Addison Russell, and it haven't worked. So let's see how it goes. And what I can say right now is that basically the Toros manager Pat Listach is in the hot seat. That's something pretty usual for Lidon, like after the first couple of weeks firing managers, and an old friend is visiting the DR coincidentally, and I'm talking about Lino Rivera, who was a champion manager with the Toros in 2020, and is in the DR dealing with another business because he's gonna be the manager for the Haitian baseball team. But also, he was talking with one journalist talking about uh, like the possibility of him being offering a managerial position, and he said that he's open. So let's see how it goes. Let's talk about some integrations, but for most of the things, and I'm gonna begin with Escogido. And General Manager Luis Rojas was talking yesterday, Sunday. And yeah, that's the same Luis Rojas who was managing the Mets in 2020 and 2021, and who was coaching the Yankees and the third base coach 2022. So some names that are expected to join Escogido in these weeks and the upcoming weeks are Eric Gonzalez, which is expected to make his debut on Saturday and Sunday. Also, relievers Jimmy Cordero and Domingo Tapia are expected to be with the team since today. Um, Utility player Otto Lopez, who plays for the Blue Jays, is expected to be with the team next week. And Franchi Cordero and Francisco Urbáez are expected to join the team in mid-November. Michael Franco, who was sent to Escogido from Gigantes January 2021, I think, that season. Uh, but he didn't play last season with Escogido. He's reaching a deal with a Japanese baseball team, said Rojas, but he's also like trying to negotiate a permit so he can play in LIDOM with Escogido. And so big names, I'm talking like big leaguers like Michael Franco and Wander Franco, sorry, Eloy Jimenez and Starling Marte, Luis Rojas have talked with them and have expressed their interest and to play this season. However, since the three of them have been dealing with injuries, Rojas rather wait to see how things go, and that way he can like set a date for their debut in case they keep progressing in their recoveries. So let's see. And finally, with Escogido, um, three foreign players: Humberto Mejia, starting pitcher from Panama, is being good with Escogido. It's gonna be with the team the whole season, but that's not the case for Javi Guerra, the reliever who is also from Panama and was pitching with the Rays this season, and also Ben Robert, the catcher who is uh, playing with Escogido and belongs to the Yankees and was one of the players involved in the transaction who sent Urshela and Gary Sanchez to the Twins, and both of them, Happy Guerra and Ben Roberts, are gonna be with the team only for the first half of the season, which is basically until Thanksgiving Day. And talking about another team, let's move to the other side of the Quisqueya Stadium. Licey are gonna have like a really big injection of players, and Auto Vicente, the general manager, was talking about that. So it's gonna be Guardians, right-hander pitcher Carlos Vargas, who made his debut with the Guardians this season, have a really good slider and a really nice hitter too. Outfielders Mel Rojas and Narciso Cruz also are gonna be joining the team, as well as Sergio Alcantara and Pablo Reyes. Also, David Garcia, the right-hander pitcher for the Yankees, are going to be joining the team alongside relievers Hansel Robles and Dauri Moreta. Some other players that are expected to join Licey are Francisco Mejia, Magner Sierra, and Jermaine Mercedes. Those three are dealing with migratory process in the USA, and once they solve that, they're going to be joining the team. And tomorrow, November 1st, Licey are playing Toros, and a really big name are going to be making his debut in LIDOM with Licey, or making his debut with Licey because he already played with Gigantes. I'm talking about Onin Cruz, which was a sensation with the Pirates this season, not because of his overall numbers, because he wasn't that great, but because of his abilities like hitting barrels, having a really nice, the best infielders arm in all of MLB in terms of velocity, and also having elite velocity around the bases. So it's gonna be fun to watch him play in LIDOM. It's gonna be good for Licey and good for the league. Also, Águilas announced a couple of additions. General manager Angelo Valles talked about Nestali Félix, Gerard Encarnacion, Roeny Salí are gonna be joining the team this week. Also, catcher Joe Hudson, who is replacing Michael Perez, who had a really good season in LIDOM, hitting 3 home runs in just a matter of 10 games. And also this Wednesday, Egoy Rosario, which was one of the best players in the minors for San Diego Padres, who was playing in AAA or Paso, and also made his debut in MLB with the Padres. He hit 21 home runs and stored 20 bases, also 81 RBI in AAA this season. He's gonna be joining the team this Wednesday. And also Ezequiel Duran, who made his debut also in MLB with the Rangers, is expected to make his debut November 11th. So those are a couple of additions around the league. Also with Gigantes, Huáscar Brazoban, which reliever which made his debut with the Braves this season, is going to be playing with Gigantes this week. He's going to be available with the team. And also for Toros, catcher Brian Navarreto got injured. He was hitting in the head by a pitch, and David Bañuelos is going to be replacing him. Bañuelos, who play for the Minnesota Twins in AAA, and it's going to be in the latest edition for Toros, which had another edition during the week, and I'm talking about Marlins Jesus Sanchez. And let me make a correction. I said that Huáscar Brazoban plays for the Braves, and I was confused. I have a glimpse there with Huáscar Noah, but actually Huáscar Brazoban plays for the Miami Marlins. That's the correction. So something sad that happened during the week, specifically on Thursday. Alexander Canario had an injury running the bases from home to third base, and he's gonna be out like for the rest of the season. He's traveling to Chicago to be evaluated by the Chicago Cubs. Basically, the doctors, and he's expected to be out like between 7 to 8 months after the injuries that he had in his left ankle and the dislocation in the left shoulder. So that's something real sad for a guy who was having his first experience in LIDOM. He already hit a homer, and it's a loss not only for Águilas but for the league. And we wish him best. Let's wait and see how his recovery goes. I'm gonna talk about also Wendell Rijo, which is one of the few brightest stories on Toros, and the most like positive story for Toros in this 0-4 beginning of the season. He has hit 4 homers in 8 games. He's leading the LIDOM in home runs. And the funny thing about that is that before this season, in his entire career in LIDOM, he only has hit 2 homers in 6 seasons. So he's 27 years old. He played last summer with the Phillies in the minors between single A and double A. And it's really good to see guys breaking out in the Dominican Winter League. We still don't know and don't have further update on Tristan Casas, and I would say that November 10 will be like the deadline to know if he's gonna return with the say or not, because that was basically what the manager Auto Vicente said on October 25, that it's gonna be a matter of 10 or 15 days to see if he's gonna be able to return. He's already in Boston being treated by the Boston Red Sox doctors, and let's see what happens in that matter. Also, let me talk about some of the top performers right now in LIDOM. Let's begin with the offensive heroes. So, Ron Mauricio is still leading LIDOM in batting average with 370, and second is another Licey player, Eli de la Cruz, with 368. And in terms of OBP, Arizona Diamondbacks Paving Smith, who is playing also with Licey, have a 500 OBP, and he's leading the league in OBP. And in slugging, it's gonna be Aristides Aquino, also from Licey. Who, oh, sorry, a mistake. I meant Ronnie Mauricio, which has a 609 slugging. He has 5 doubles, which is leading the leagues in doubles, and 2 home runs. And in OPS, it's gonna be Eli de la Cruz, who is leading the league in OPS. And as I said before, with Wendell Rijo, he had 4 home runs, and he's the leader in that department. Let's go to the pitchers, staff them to see the guys who are excelling there. And in ERA, it's gonna be Smil Rogers, with having allowed a run in 11 innings, 11.1 innings, coming out the bullpen. And Josh A. Smith, starting pitcher from Escogido, who was injured yesterday after 1 inning of in the game, was taken out of the game. He neither have allowed earned run in the season. So those two are leading there. And in terms of strikeouts, it's gonna be Toros Carlos Hernandez and Gigantes Pedro Fernandez with 16 strikeouts each one. They have been the best in that matter. And the best with Milidon belongs to Brooks Halls, which is one of their starting pitchers for Tigres del Licey, and he only allowed 6 hits and no walks in 9 innings for Licey, and that's wide. And finally, safe, and the leader in that department is Richard Rodriguez for Águilas. He have 4 saves, and that's gonna change once Nestali Felix joins the team, because he's gonna be the closer. But yeah, it's been a nice beginning of the season for Rodriguez, which already have 5 safe, correcting that, and 6 strikeouts in 7 innings, only 4 hits, even though he have issued 4 walks. And yeah, that was basically some of the leaders in LIDOM. And today, 3 games, and let's wait the rain doesn't postpone any of them. At 7 o'clock Eastern Time, 7 p.m. in Julián Javier Stadium, Estrellas are going to be visiting Gigantes. Then at 7:15 p.m. Eastern Time in Quisqueya Stadium, Águilas Ibaeñas are going to be facing Tigres del Licey, which is the LIDOM Classic rivalry. And later at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, Leones are going to be facing Toros. So that's been all for today. Thank you for listening. And Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or any other podcast platform, and also for watching it on YouTube. I'm Arving Gonzalez, and I'm gonna see you in another episode of the LIDOM Report. Have a good one.